thinking of making your wedding cakes, birthday cakes, snacks, small chops, or delicious tasting desserts? Think Mix and Bake Confectionery and School. We bake cakes for all occasions as well as mouth-watering snacks and desserts. At Mix and Bake Confectionery and School, we also offer you the opportunity to learn and master the art of cake baking, decoration, and sugar crafting. You can also take your PME Professional Diploma course at Mix and Bake School, as we are recognized across the globe as a pioneer in the teaching of PME Professional Diploma course. We also stock a wide array of cake baking and decoration accessories such as cake decorating tools, edible photo machines, airbrush machines, wedding cake stands, cutters, and many more. Visit us at Ikeja 74 Ogunosi Road by Grammar School Bus Stop, Ojedubega, Ikeja, Lagos, or call 0803 727 6296 or 0704 605 3415.
Happy New Year to you. I'm Ikeolu Biobako, the Chief Responsibility Officer of Mix and Bake Confectionery, School and Accessories. I would like to welcome you to this new edition, new year of baking cakes, pastry making, bread making, and cake decorating. You are in for a wonderful time this year because we're putting you through a lot of things. Baking, cake decorating, sugar craft, just name it, wedding cakes, birthday cakes, anniversary cake. I mean, we have loads of things to put you through. So put on your apron and get set with me as we start in the kitchen together. Today we'll be putting you through and teaching you how to bake a simple cream sponge cake. You could also call it a butter cake. I hope you enjoy the view. Thank you. To bake a basic cream sponge cake with vanilla flavor, we will be starting with the ingredients you will need for this cake. We'll be starting with the flour. We need flour. We need sugar, granulated sugar, not cubed sugar. Very important, granulated fine sugar. We need margarine. We need butter, eggs, powdered milk, baking powder, flavor, water. Now there's a secret ingredient I would like to add. It's called the Excel sponge. We'll be talking more about it as the program goes on. To bake a cream sponge cake, you would need to have a 6-inch pan because the recipe we'll be dealing with today is a 6-inch recipe. To bake a cream sponge cake, the first thing you need to do, you need to grease your pan. So that's what I'm going to do right now. You can use your hands or you can use a brush depending on what you want to do. So I'll just brush the pan round. This is to prevent the cake from sticking when baking. We would also be teaching you how to line pans and all that. You can decide to line your pan for this one, but for today we will not be lining our pan. We'll just be using the margarine on the pan. Okay, that's that. The next thing we will do, we will add our margarine, our sugar, and our butter into our mixer. This mixer will cream the sugar and margarine together to get a creamed mixture. That's the first step you need to do. You need to take. So for now, I'll be using the margarine and the sugar only. So I bring down my mixer head and I start mixing on medium speed. For this recipe, I would just like to run through. You need 250 gram flour, 200 gram margarine, 150 gram sugar, 200 gram eggs. Now, your eggs must be broken and without the shell. 200 gram eggs. So I will break and add. Remember, I need to check if I have up to 200 grams. Yes, I do have up to 200 grams. I'm going to add my magic ingredients called Excel Sponge. Excel Sponge is an emulsifier which gives you great soft cakes. So remember, the first step to baking a cream sponge cake, you add your margarine and sugar into your mixer. The next step is your Excel Sponge into your measured eggs. Then I grab my whisk and whisk my Excel Sponge and egg until well blended. So I keep whisking until the Excel Sponge disappears into the egg and I cannot see the lumps anymore. The next thing I do, I go over to my mixer to check the state of my margarine and sugar. Looking at it, you would see that what we started with was a mass of yellow margarine and sugar. Looking at it now is well creamed. So I'll just scrape it down just to get any one that we've not creamed properly. And again, I bring it down and I continue mixing on medium speed for a few minutes. We've creamed our margarine and sugar together. We've mixed our Excel Sponge into our egg. The next thing we're going to be doing, remember I mentioned the flour, the baking powder, and I'm just going to mention this now, preservative. Is not compulsory, but it just gives your cake a longer life on your shelf. So I'm going to add the baking powder, measured baking powder, the measured preservative, and I'm going to pour this into a sieve. Very important, you must sieve your flour to bring out any impurity and also to aerate it. Very, very important. So that is done. Now, if you see, look into the sieve, you see some lumps and all that. So that's why it's necessary for you to sieve your flour. Another ingredient we will be needing, we'll be using for our cake is powdered milk. Powdered milk is also optional, but because I like very spongy, rich, nice tasting cakes, I like to give it all I can, all the works. So you need to dilute your milk with water. Water that's already been measured in a measuring cup. All right, so I already have my water measured, so I'm just going to add it to my milk mixture and mix it together with my whisk until I make it lump-free. Lump-free, remember. Okay, I have a lump-free milk now. So we have our flour ready, our egg ready, and our milk ready. We also have our flavoring right in front of me, which has been measured. You can use any liquid flavor of your choice. It can be butterscotch flavor, vanilla flavor, just name it. It can be banana flavor. So I'm going to take you now with my egg and Excel Sponge. Remember Excel Sponge, the magic in the recipe. So my Excel Sponge and my egg mixture will be poured into my creamed mixture. If you look at this creamed mixture now, you will see the difference. It's so creamy, you would not believe it. Very creamy texture from what we started with. So I will add my egg gradually and keep creaming. A little bit more. I must not forget to scrape down the side. Scrape down so that everything is incorporated. I will add the rest of my egg and continue mixing until I get a smooth texture. The next ingredient I'm going to add is my water and powdered milk mixture. All right, remember this is a special recipe, not a regular recipe. Okay, so I'm just going to pour this into the mixture again. When you look at what we have, this is the mixture with the egg. Look at the difference. It's softer, it's creamier. So we're going to be adding our water and milk mixture now, and we'll give it a little mix again. The next thing I'm going to be adding is the flavor. Remember, 1 teaspoon flavoring for this particular size of cake. Remember, we're doing a 6-inch mix. A 6-inch mix. This is a 6-inch pan. This is a 6-inch pan. All right? So, into my mixer, I add my flavor just to pep it up, to give it a vanilla taste or a butterscotch taste. But here, I'm using the vanilla flavor. So, my mix is ready. This is what we get. Can you see the difference with what we started with and what we have now? The last thing I'm going to be doing now is adding the already sipped flour with the preservative and the baking powder. So I'll be adding that in bits and folding it. Now you may ask me, why don't I do everything in the mixer? At Mix and Bake, over the years, we're used to mixing, especially when we are adding flour into our mix, we fold in. It gives you a better textured cake, a softer textured cake. Because when you overbeat flour, it sets up the gluten. And gluten is what will make your cake hard. I don't want a hard cake, I want a very soft cake, so I'm going to do that. It also depends on the kind of cake you're using. I mean, there are some cakes you can finish up using the mixer. But for this particular one, I would advise you use the spoon to fold in. This is the folding in method. So I add the last batch. You can see that I didn't add everything all at once. I added it in bits and pieces, all right? So I finish up by folding in. This is a folding in method. Fold in until you get out all the lumps. So I have a smooth texture now. Remember, do not over mix. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pour it into my 6-inch pan. So I'll just pour in my batter and just round. Make sure it doesn't get to the top. This is what we have. And the next thing we're going to do, we're going to put it into our oven. Now, for a 6-inch cake, you would need about 45 minutes to bake it, between 45 minutes to 1 hour. So I place this into a pre-warmed oven. Remember, your oven should be on. I set it to a gas mark of between 100 to 150 centigrade. Okay, so wait for about 45 minutes to 1 hour for our cake to bake. So I'm going to bring the cake out of the oven now. I leave this to cool for at least 30 to 40 minutes before I bring it out of the pan. You can see it's cool now. That's why I can handle it with my hand. I bring it out, push it out of the pan, and we have our ready-made cake. Okay, viewers, I hope you've enjoyed the baking of a cream sponge cake. Thank you for watching. For any questions, just log on to our website, contact us on our website, and we'll get back to you. See you next week. Enjoy your cake. Thank you.